I love the sun. It's so nice to be outside for once. Meet Your Maker, an asymmetrical PvP game developed by Behavior, who are known for such amazing games such as... To start things off, let's go back to the beginning. Video games were invented and the gameplay consists of two distinctive sides: building and raiding. Let's start with the building. Players can build their own levels and fill them with various traps or guards. But why? Why would you do such a thing? Why not just build a house? Well, it's because they have to defend this amazing vial of amazing genetic material, of course. Invading players will try to steal your gen mat, so you gotta protect it. You gotta protect it with everything you got. So, you might be asking, why can't I just build around my gen mat? Why can't I just wall it off? Well, the answer is...
this fucking guy.
Meet Harvey. This guy is a box on legs, and he's gonna go from the entrance to the gen mat, back to the entrance, back to the gen mat, on a loop 24/7, never sleeping, never resting. Harvey's purpose is so that raiders can always have a clear path to the gen mat. They can always follow him to know where the gen mat is. And levels must always have a clear path to the gen mat. It can never be blocked by anything at all. In fact, the whole level has to be walkable by Harvey. That means no jumps, no holes, no climbing, which is kinda confusing considering they gave us a grappling hook. Nothing at all. Everything must be walkable. According to the developers, the system was made so that players that are good at building but bad at the actual raiding part of the game could still upload their levels. Which, on paper, if there is nothing to be gained from levels, sure. But every time you kill a player, you get some money. Money that is directly tied to the game's progression system. Players naturally want to unlock new weapons, they want new suits, they want new traps or guards for their levels. Why not just make a shitty, extremely difficult level designed to kill as many players as possible that is not meant to be fun, and just throw it out into the pool? The thing is, a lot of people thought the exact same way, so much so that a meta of sorts has developed, where players that raided people and always found the exact same killing builds just copied them because they were clearly working. So like a plague, they would just spread and spread and spread until basically every level for a bit was just the exact same design type. It doesn't help that there was no reward for having fun levels or having artistic levels besides an accolade, which does nothing. It does not give you any experience, you did not get any rewards at all for getting accolades. They were just there. So, in a way, the game quite literally rewards you for making bad levels and punishes you for making good levels. For a game all about levels made by players, that's a horrible state of affairs. But anyway, let's go back to the building. Besides placing traps or guards, players can also decorate their levels with various decals and props. Well, I say props, it's kinda loose, honestly. It's more of a 3D shape you can put on top of a face of a block. And yeah, that's correct. Every time you want to decorate a block, you have to do it face by face. If you want to paint a block, that is a decal, and you have to paint it face by face. Because it is a decal, it has a lot of limitations to it. For example, let's say a player grabs your gen mat. There is a second wave of traps that can appear after that has happened, which makes them appear out of the walls. Previously they would be invisible, but now they would appear and surprise the player. However, you cannot paint over traps, which means all the spots where traps could be in the future after the gen mat is grabbed are now just clear to see. That's right, the game actively punishes you for decorating your map. And those are just some of the things that limit creativity in the building system. Every time you get a plot of land, which is how you build levels by the way, there will be randomly generated bedrock, which you cannot move and you cannot remove. You have to build around it, and you can't move the gen mat either. Or let's talk about the fact that there's only 3 block shapes, or maybe the fact that you have a block limit. You can only build so many blocks. If you run out of blocks, well, you have no space for traps. Yes, traps and blocks and guards, everything that you build, except for decals and decorations, uses up parts, which you only have a limited amount of per level. So to summarize, what we've got so far is a building system that punishes players for adding decorations, punishes players for making elaborate structures, punishes players for making the level fun, and on top of that, it has to be on rails and essentially a straight line so that Harvey can make it to the gen mat and back. In a building game. In a game about raiding. The game is heavily skewed towards raiding, which makes sense. After all, what's the point of having all these levels if nobody's going to play them? As a raider, you have 2 weapon slots, 1 armor slot, and 1 utility tool slot. There are also augments you can earn from a battle pass, but those weren't added until the game was already 1 foot in the grave, so I won't talk too much about them. Raiding is difficult. I'd say even too difficult. You have no health, you die in 1 hit, your ammo is limited, you have to retrieve it after shooting. In fact, the starter gun only has 2 bullets. Yeah, that's just a starter gun, but you could upgrade your weapons or try new gear, but which player is going to grind levels over and over again with this equipment when the levels look like this? The game from the get-go was just too punishing towards new players. If you want broad appeal, if you want new players coming into your game, you can't kick them in the balls the moment they open it. Raiding consists of one singular objective. You have to go inside the player-made outpost and steal their gen mat. After doing so, second wave traps will activate, and you'll have to make your way to the entrance, fuck off into the desert lands, and escape. If you die, you have to restart from the beginning, unless you have placed your own respawn pod, which you only have 2 per attempt. And if you run out of them, you have to buy more with in-game currency. Yes, you have a limited amount of respawns, and you have to buy them between levels. If you run out during a level, you have to exit the level, buy more, go back in the level, and try again. Also, just between you and me, the loading times are a bit too long, I think. Imagine if in Super Meat Boy, every time you died you have to wait like 30 seconds just to try it again. Also, another thing, the game has multiplayer, however, you can only play with your friend, singular. You can only play with one person that you know on Steam personally. There is no way to matchmake with random people. In fact, there are no social features at all. You cannot place signs in your levels to communicate with the raiders. You cannot place comments under levels that you liked. There are no sprays, there are no emotes, there is no text chat, no voice chat, nothing. The only way you can ever see a player that is not your friend is through a replay, which you get if somebody plays your level. That is the only way. Which is kinda confusing considering there's skins in the game, right? So, if the only way to see somebody is through a replay, what's the point of skins? But honestly, I just think the game is badly designed all over. There is a cool idea there somewhere, but at the same time, it's just a total Frankenstein's monster made out of many design puzzle pieces that just don't work together, that just don't fit. I think the game could have worked out had it been rebalanced to be more casual friendly. I really hope somebody makes a spiritual successor to it one day, because the idea is fun, and I really like asynchronous games. I think we need to see more of them. So anyway, why is the game dead? Well, it's literally dead. It's on life support. The developers have confirmed that there's not gonna be any more updates to the game. The player numbers have been dwindling for quite a long time now, and the developers were just saying, well, it's okay, there's like a mysterious number of console players playing the game for sure, so like, it's okay. Plus, you don't need that many players playing the game at the same time, right? Because like the levels are uploaded to the cloud and everything, blah blah blah, but like, I think they're just coping, honestly. Thanks for watching. I'm new to all of this, so tell me how I did.